shall not be afraid at all. My stronghold, my Savior, I shall not be moved.
Good day, listeners and viewers. Welcome to this very special program with Sister Mary Angela Mathlin. We are here at their residence in Guelph, and it's a very beautiful setting. As you know, it is not easy in the time in which we live for persons to be so faithful to a call. And this year, Sister Mary Angela Mathlin, a sister of the Sorrowful Mother, a Grenadian, she is celebrating 60 years of religious profession, as we refer to it as a Diamond Jubilee. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Sister, on this very, very major milestone, which bears great witness in this time in which we live. I'm Ruthina Victor, and we will be journeying with Sister, or she will be journeying with us through her whole experience as a sister of the Sorrowful Mother. So welcome, Sister, and I'm excited to hear what you will have to share with us as we speak of your own journey. So welcome.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the fact that you have taken time to do this, because it's important for me, my life that I have lived all those 60 years,
Yes.
and maybe to share, which I always do, especially with the young people.
Yes. So, Sister, how do you feel in this moment as you are on the verge of celebrating 60 years as a professed sister?
I am happy and thankful in so many ways, too numerous to recall,
Yes.
to number and all of that, because it's my whole life actually, and it has been a good life for me. And I appreciate the fact that God looked upon me and called me into this way of life. So I'm happy, you know, and I feel good because I think I have lived it to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
years, you know.
Yes.
I mean, like every other life, there's ups and downs. There's joys and sorrows. I lost my parents, you know, who is not here with me, my grandmother in particular.
Yes.
But these things happen to everybody in every family.
Yes.
So I think of them, I pray to them. I know they're praying for me also. And because they have been part of my journey for those 60 years.
Wonderful.
And so I feel good within.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
And
good
contented.
feelings. Yes, contented.
Yes.
And I mean, sometimes the young people ask me, she said, if you had to choose again, would you choose the same lifestyle? I said, definitely.
Wonderful.
Because when I look at our world today, I don't see anything out there that attracts me differently.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right.
I had friends at school who got married. It didn't work for many, you know, so that was a lesson for me also. Several of them have died, unfortunately.
Yes.
But generally, when I reflect on my life, and I've been doing it a lot this past year, coming towards this celebration, there's a satisfaction that I can say, Lord, I've made it thus far.
Yes.
Not on my own strength, but with you leading me, guiding me, directing me. And to have Jesus as your spouse is the best thing ever.
Yes.
Yes, he's one man that would not let you down
He wouldn't walk away from you.
and walk away from me. You know, one man I could tell all my secrets and
Yes.
secure.
You know, it's wonderful to meet a happy religious. And you really remind me of some sisters we met in Portugal.
Okay.
You know, the Jesus Communio.
Okay.
And the experience, you know, just being in the presence, it's just magnetic. And it's wonderful when you said God looked on you, you know, of all the people and called you.
Yes.
And you heard his voice and you said yes.
And especially,
And you were very young, sister. So you might say like Samuel, how did you know the voice of God? How did you know it was him who was calling you?
there was a deep feeling within
Yes,
that
yes.
I really cannot explain.
Yes.
But I just knew it was the Lord speaking to me.
And you never had doubts at all? No.
Well, I mean, not doubts of being called by God.
Right.
I mean, doubts of how to continue to live the life in a particular way.
Yes.
You know, I mean, everybody goes through questioning in their lives about something, even married couples.
Yes, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and then you have experiences that come and strengthen you deeper after these experiences and feelings that you
Yes.
would have had.
And
in
confirm
Yes.
that call for
Okay.
you. Yes.
Yes, faithfulness.
Yes.
Faithfulness.
So let's talk a bit, sister, of your own background. You know, as you said, your parents died, and
Yes.
you were speaking of the grace. It was really an act of God to have grown up with your grandmother. Yes.
Very
Tell
much
us a
so.
bit of your background. Do you have brothers and sisters, or you just the only child of your parents?
No. Well, first of all, when I talk about my background, I thank God in a special way too, because religious life prior to my entering into the convent, communities never accepted children who were born out of marriage.
Okay.
Families who were not married.
Yeah.
So as I know it, the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother has been the first community who have opened up to receive such persons, because I am a fruit of one of those.
Okay.
Both
okay.
of my parents were married, but not to each other.
Okay.
Okay? And actually, I know I was conceived in Trinidad, but I was born in Grenada.
So how do they call you? A Trin Gren?
A
Gren Trin.
Trin.
Okay.
Yes, because my mother was working in Trinidad. She was 17 when she had me. You see, very young.
Those
And
days,
had me there. My grandmother saw that she was having problems taking care of me, going to work, and she left me at some lady who was taking care of people's children, babies, you know. And then I got very sick with asthma.
Okay.
So my grandmother said, give me my child. So she said it to me, because if I leave her with you, she's going to die.
Okay.
You don't know how to take care of the children at that age. So she picked me up from Trinidad and brought me here to Grenada. As a baby, I went back to Trinidad with her.
Yes.
Because I was still nursing, very tender child, you know.
Yes.
So she brought me back to Grenada. And I'm glad to be Grenadian.
Yes.
Very proud to be Grenadian. And in my mother's side, there are 4 of us. And I am the eldest.
Okay.
Okay. And I didn't know my mother very well, because she was in Trinidad and I was here in Grenada.
Yes.
With my grandmother. But I knew that that woman over there, my grandmother kept reminding me is my mother, and I called her mother.
Yes.
And I called my grandmother Mommy. So you see the difference, right?
Yes.
But I got to love her when I finally met her at my grandmother's death.
Okay.
I was
That
about
must have
11
been
years
something,
old.
yes.
About that time, just finished making my first communion when my grandmother died. She didn't even live to see me make first communion. She was asking God for that grace. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't
happen,
give her,
you know?
yes.
So when my mother came over for the funeral, I look at a stranger, and she's looking at me, and she said, "Come, I'm your mom. Come and talk to me." And I'm hiding from her.
Yes.
You know, because
That connection, yes.
But then in the process of that time when she stayed in Grenada before she went back to Trinidad, and actually she came with a little boy, who was my brother.
Who's your brother? Yes.
But I was a few years older than he was, you know. So she went back. And the interesting thing that I like to share with people is the choice that the Spirit of God inspired me to make to stay in Grenada with my godmother. Because I remember the day before my mother decided to go back to Trinidad, family gathered in the backyard.
Yes.
And she called me, and I was in the middle. And she said, well, Athalie, that was my name.
What was your name?
Athalie.
Athalie?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to tell us about
actually,
Mary Angela, okay.
Well, wait, I have so many names you wouldn't believe it. I had 4 names at baptism.
Wow.
Like every godmother wanted to give me a name.
Okay.
And then I entered the convent and I got 2 more. So 4 and 2, 6 names. I'm unique. Very, very unique.
I know how you feel strongly about that uniqueness. Yes.
Yes. So, like mother called me. She said, well, you know, I'm going back to Trinidad. That's where I live now. And if you want to come with me, I'm your mother, you're free to do so.
Okay.
But your grandfather so-and-so wanted you, your auntie so-and-so wants you, and like I was there for something to be given away.
Yeah.
And the Spirit of God in my tender age, she said, no. And I said, she said, how do you feel about all of that? I said, I want to stay just where Mommy put me.
That's
was
Granny.
my response, my
That's
grandmother.
okay.
Yes, because
Whom you
told-
call Mommy.
Mommy,
Right.
yes. Because I told you how I got to my
Yes,
godmother.
yes.
She took me there when she was going to the hospital. She said, I don't know if I'll come back alive. This is your child.
Okay.
So that's how I came to live with my godmother.
Okay.
She was a very popular person in Goa. Everybody,
Okay.
you know, she taught hundreds of children to make the ABC and count
She was
1,
a
2,
teacher?
3. Yes,
Okay.
infant school teacher.
Okay.
Miss
okay.
Rose the Gentle.
Rosie Gentle.
Yes.
God rest her soul, yes.
So I made my decision. My mother said the child has spoken. No more discussion. And that's how...
Even then you got
Even
this
then,
gift
oh
of
yes,
speech, huh?
Oh yes. So she went back to Trinidad and I went back home with my godmother. And I stayed with her until I entered the convent.
Okay.
You know?
That was pretty young, sister.
Yes.
You entered the convent.
16, yeah.
You were 16.
16, yeah, when I went to the convent.
So in those years,
Yes.
you would enter
At early
as
age.
early
yes,
age.
early age.
Yeah.
They were even younger. The Sisters of the Soulful Mother took younger people that they call aspirants.
Okay.
Just aspiring to be.
To be, yes.
Yes. But after a while, they had to discontinue that practice because the young people came from the various islands and they had the idea that they were coming to go to school.
Okay.
Not to
Not
enter convent to be a sister.
yes.
Well, even when I got the call and I entered, I didn't know what convent life would have been like. I was so happy to go. And Father Bernard Cadillac played a very important part in my life in
So
making that decision.
tell us of that call. Tell us about that person who really impacted
Yes.
you.
I was at home doing my chores, washing I think I was that day, and he sent a child to tell me to come to the presbytery. He has some sisters that he would like me to meet.
Okay.
At that time, I only knew of the St. Joseph of Cluny sisters in St. George's, but never had personal contact with them.
But did you speak to him about a desire that you had to become a sister or just...
No.
Okay.
No. I had no desire.
So there was no discussion with him?
But what I look back now over those years, the way I was brought up at my godmother would have led me to that.
Okay.
Because she shared with me also that as a young girl, she never married or had children, my
Okay.
godmother.
Okay.
She said she herself wanted to be a sister when she was young, but you had to go to England or some other country.
Yes.
Because and it didn't have the money to do it. And many of them came back sad, but they were not accepted.
Okay, yes.
Yes,
so you were telling us about Father, he sent to call you,
yes, so I
Father
left
Bernard Cadillac?
Yes,
Yes.
Bernard Cadillac, he was from Czechoslovakia.
Yes,
a
I remember him
Dominican.
with a crunch back.
Yes,
Yes,
oh yeah,
yes.
he was a beautiful
Very
person.
wonderful
He's a
priest.
people person. He
Yes.
worked with the poor a lot, you know.
Yes, and he walked a lot through
Oh
all the...
yes, all the boys with him, you know.
Yes.
And in those days, it took like a village to bring up a child, as the African
That's what we,
says,
that's what
you
we
know.
said, and
Yes,
that's what we
you know,
knew.
and
Yes.
Because a child from another family could have been corrected by your family, given a slap if you're doing something wrong.
Or any neighbor, any
Yes,
person.
any person,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
So we have lost that value.
Yes.
Now they want to beat you.
Yes. So continue to tell us about Father.
Yes,
He
so
called
Father
you
called me
and
I went
told
to
you.
I quickly changed my little clothes, you know, not for rich people, but I looked tidy, and I went and said, go and hear what Father has to say to you. I went to the presbytery and I saw these two tall, well, one was short and one was tall.
And you knew
Sister-
them to be nuns?
Yes,
Sisters,
because the way
okay.
they were dressed. They were
Yes.
dressed like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is this?
That is the foundress of the Sisters of the Soulful Mother.
Yes, Sister
Mother
Frances.
Frances Streiter.
Yes.
Okay, she was a German.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's where she was born in November 1844. Okay. She died
Yes.
in March 6, 1911.
Yes.
Yes, what she started.
So you
this
saw
order.
these two ladies, these two sisters whom Father called you to see,
tall
and what was they?
stately, you know. And but they were friendly towards me. And in conversation, one of them asked me, would you like to be a sister? And before the word came out of her mouth, I said, yes. Didn't
That
even know-
desire was planted there.
It
from
was, the
birth,
seed
it
was in
seemed,
there
yes,
growing, you know.
Yes.
Anyhow, we chatted and said, well, we are coming. We came to the West Indies, because the word Caribbean was being used those days. And we are looking for property so we can start a mission. Okay? They had come from Barbados to Grenada.
Okay.
Okay. So they took my name, my address. They had no phone in those days. It's only rich people had a phone. So they said they were looking for one of the islands, you know,
Yes.
where they would get good property to start. And if they're going to be started, they don't know how soon they would start. So I may have to go up to America to join them.
Okay.
Okay, because they were
So
going
that
back
was
to America.
that these two sisters were from the
Yes.
sorrowful mother.
Yes, sisters
Okay.
of the soul. One was German and one was American.
Okay.
Yes. So they took my address.
Yes.
And they corresponded with me, sent me prayer books, prayer cards, and holy things.
So you're preparing. You're
Yes.
preparing. Yes.
And then finally a letter came one day and said, "Oh, sister, so happy to let you know that well, not sister,
yes.
whatever.
Whatever your name was, not Mary Angela at the moment.
No, no. That
Athalie, it was Athalie. Yes.
Athalie Gloria Cora Elizabeth.
Oh.
Elizabeth is really my baptismal name
Yes.
that I liked.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Anyhow,
So they wrote to you and
yes, and I corresponded with them, and the final letter said, "You don't have to come to America anymore because we have found the property in Barbados."
Okay.
Ashton Hall Country Club it was. Lovely property,
Yes.
lovely property. When I go there now, I don't even want to see it because my heart still hurts
Oh.
for that, place
You
where
no
it was
longer.
formed. And
Yes,
you know.
it means a lot to you.
oh,
and
yes. So they said, well, we'll put a date for entrance. By that time, Father Bernard already found two other young girls.
Okay.
Barbara Dabrio,
Okay.
Alvin Dabrio's sister,
Yes.
yes, and Candice Taylor. All three of us was from Grover,
Okay.
right? So we went the same day, same flight, everything. And
To Barbados.
Barbados, because Barbados was our headquarters for the Caribbean.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just walked right for you.
Yes.
And you were the first Grenadian, these first three Grenadians to enter
yes.
the South, Sister of Sorrowful Mother.
Sorrowful Mother.
Awesome.
But yes, we went to Barbados, and there was a little convent called Holy Family in Spikestown in Barbados. Because Bishop Justin Field, who was the bishop at that time,
Yes.
had already welcomed the sisters into Barbados before they had come over to Grenada. And the church had this building, so there was a need for this school for juniors, and most of the children were from the American Naval Base, and then some Barbadians.
Okay.
So I met two sisters there who already were there before me, but one was from Trinidad and one was from Guyana.
Okay.
So we made that first group of sisters.
5 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but it wasn't all 5 because Candice was too young.
So they didn't accept Candice?
She went, but they kept her, of course.
Okay.
But she couldn't go before me or Barbara because we were older than she was.
Oh.
We said we had age for the various stages.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. And,
so Candice came after. Barbara came.
Yeah, no, Barbara and I went together in formation.
Yes. Okay.
But Candice had to go back and wait as a candidate.
Okay.
Before she could have started. And right now she's married and lives in England.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so.
I know for nearly all the religious congregations, they have a professional journey. Let me put it that way. In terms of the aspirant, you have the postulant, you have the novice, and not your
called formation.
Formation.
Yes,
so tell us a bit of that formation that you had, because you went from primary, you went very young, and you didn't finish secondary school yet.
No.
So how were you taken care of in terms of your education and
when I
formation?
the first group of us met together, it was mainly housework that we were engaged with.
Okay.
Washing, cleaning. I remember the place had a lot of bush because it was recently they just bought the place. And so we had to help in the cleaning up.
Okay.
And see me pushing my wheelbarrow with...
because you're young and full of energy then, right?
Going out and emptying it out of the road until the government stopped us.
Okay.
And they sent a dumper.
Okay.
So we were able to put... So I did a lot of that of labor work. And we started to go to the Ursuline Convent, which was an established girls' school several years already. And that was from the Ursuline Convent I got my A levels and my advanced levels.
Okay.
And then from there, I came to Grenada in '68. I think it was that I came to Grenada. St. Rose had started a few years
They had
before.
started the school,
Yes, Sister Raphael, who started the school, was here, Sister South Africa. And some other West Indian sisters came with me. So we started teaching at the school. But then Sister Raphael, who was a little more knowledgeable, although she was a principal and everything, realized that we couldn't continue teaching without some training. So she made arrangements for us to go to Teachers Training College. St.
Yes,
George's.
St. George's,
Yes,
yeah.
you know. And then she eventually went away to study for another degree, came back, and didn't last very long in Grenada. She went back.
Okay.
And that's when we as Caribbean sisters took over.
Okay.
We had one from Trinidad, Joan Angela, who came to free me so I could go to college.
Okay. Yes.
So I went and I had Sir Glean, Calais Glean was one of my teachers at college, Sir Campbell.
Yes.
Well, they're all gone to the Father now. So I had some training there. And then from Grenada, I was sent back to Barbados. I went to Barbados Community College, and it was for 2 years also. And I did some further studies.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And because our congregation is very big on education.
Education, yes.
Education.
So
That's why
academic studies.
yes.
Not
In addition
necessarily
to the spiritual.
the spiritual, the
Yeah, the
formation.
spiritual.
Yes, okay.
Well, with the spiritual now, when I entered, it was all in Latin. We prayed in Latin.
How did you manage?
That's a good question. I was hearing things that were not in the book. And I could give you an example because sister, my novice mistress called me one day and she said, I heard you saying something, but that's not correct. De fusia gracia in labis tuis. De fusia gracia in labis tuis. And I'm hearing different kinds of grasses for the rabbits to eat. Different kinds of grasses for the rabbits to eat. So she nearly died. She said, no, Mary, that's not what we are praying. So I learned, well, it wasn't that.
So you had to learn Latin. You had to learn it as part of the formation.
We had Latin as, it didn't last too long.
But then you had the masses in Latin, but then you had Vatican II looming there, which changed things.
Yes,
huh?
so that came quickly after my entry into the convent.
Okay,
65.
okay. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So we are glad to go back to the mother's tongue.
So tell us, when you went back to Barbados, you said you had opportunities to serve in the parish with Bishop Dixon.
Oh yes, Bishop Dixon had been
And
very
he gave
good
you
to
certain
me.
assignments, and you were able to provide
Yes.
service to the
Well,
diocese
while
of
we were in
Bridgetown.
Barbados from the very beginning, we were involved in parish ministry. There's a Jesuit parish, St. Francis of Assisi,
Yes.
in St. James, that we went there to do Sunday school. And we also did it where we were living in St. Peter's. And
Yes.
actually, to be interested for important notice, Barbados, Our Lady of Sorrows Parish, is celebrating 60 years this year too.
Wow,
So
wow.
we gave birth to that parish.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And my heart is in Barbados too, because that was where
I know
foundation,
you had a very strong formation there.
Yes.
You served in the area of catechetics in
Yes.
Barbados.
Well, I personally used to do evangelization, even though the word didn't come out yet,
Yes.
because I used to go on a Friday. You know, I would do all my chores finished, and then Saturday morning nobody don't see me. I pick up my Bible and I went house to house visiting, because the people there were more Anglican.
Yes, yes.
You know,
And
and a lot
yes.
of them came over to the Catholic Church
Wonderful.
because of that visit.
House to house, eh?
Yes, you know. Older people were glad that we visited them, come to know we were,
Yes.
started to work with us, you know. So it was a good relationship developed there.
Yes.
I was in catechetics, the director in Barbados, because I was always involved with the teaching. Education had been my life all along.
Yes.
So Bishop Dixon got this scholarship to send somebody to train in Rome,
Okay.
and I was chosen. Community said yes, you could go. And the good thing about that, our main headquarters is in Rome.
Oh.
Yes.
So you
Via
right
Aurelia
there.
was right there.
Did you stay there
No,
and
no,
just
we had
attend
to
the
stay
college?
at
You had to
Castel
second-
Gandolfo,
Okay.
which
okay.
was near to the Pope's summer house.
Yes, yes.
Lovely area,
Yeah.
the Lake Albano. Oh, I can dream of going back
You're
there someday.
reminiscing.
Yes, yes. And we were from 50 different nationalities. So, and we all had to learn Italian for our common language.
Yes, yes.
It wasn't all that easy,
Yes.
but I made it.
You made it, yes.
And I pinch myself when I say that even today, because I did the valedictorian speech at graduation,
And you did it in Italian?
Italian.
Wow.
Sister Julie came, Julie Peters.
I got you.
I had a picture of her. She came for my, she said, Angie girl, excuse the word. I didn't understand one word you said, but I was so damn happy to see you standing addressing this audience of people. I didn't understand one word, but to see you standing there in that front audience of Professor so-and-so, Madre Beatrice, and you're going down with the people Italian, she said, I was so damn proud. So I said, little girl from Guavas, Grenada.
Yes.
And
yes.
the students voted for me. I said, why me? A lot of Spanish people speaking it closer to Italian than I do the Portuguese.
Something, yes.
So Angela, die. We want you. You know, the Spanish students kept shouting. So I had no choice to say yes. And I used to go in the garden and practice pronunciation in front of the tree. And Father Samuel, he helped me a lot too. My dear Madre Beatrice, were very good.
Yes, but you still remember.
Yes,
if you go to Italy.
Once I hear them speak it, it comes back.
Yes,
it
yes,
comes back,
you understand, yes.
And it's a beautiful language.
Yes.
It's sing-song, you know.
Yes. So, sister, let's talk about after you went there and you got qualified in that area, you came back to Barbados.
And he installed me back as directress of catechetics.
Catechetics, okay. For how long did you serve in Barbados?
I lived in Barbados 16 years.
16, okay.
Came and went back, you know.
Yes.
And then I served in America for 1 year too.
Okay.
I wasn't a nurse, but sister had to go on a convention. She called and asked me if I would come and help, and I went. And it was with our own sisters, elderly sisters, you know. So I had that experience too, working in America for a year, and then come back home.
Yes. And
I was involved in many different ministries. I worked at New for 2 years.
Tell us about your experience.
Mother. Oh, I enjoyed those 2 years there.
Sister, you seem to have had a very happy journey through this life.
Yeah, I believe that. And
like,
that's why
you know.
For me now, it's all Thanksgiving. It's all Thanksgiving.
So you worked at New You were at New in the early years.
And as house mother.
What does that mean?
You're the mother of all the students sleeping in at New but they were different to the students of today. Very respectful.
You managed well in those times, yes.
And Miss, what was her name? She's dead now. God bless her soul. The cook, the two of us used to stay in to sleep.
Okay.
And we went home on weekends.
Okay.
You know, and I enjoyed those days. Getting up 5 in the morning, one time I had to address parents. I said, I did something with your children that you couldn't do. Wake up 5 in the morning to pray. I said, how many of you parents could do that?
Every opportunity you get, you want to evangelize. I know that about you.
But that was the rule. And you know, we had jokes over that because we had a bell with a stone that you rang. They hit the bell and they took out the stone from the bell. I said, well, that doesn't make a difference, you know. Because you have to get up. I took a pot spoon and the pot cover, and I went clang, 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 clang up the dormitory. And
sure, they didn't like that one too much.
But it worked.
I prefer the bell.
And they would do the work, you know, I say when you do your work well and you'll get time off to go on the beach. The beach was just in front of us.
Yes.
And we used to go in the night and hold fish. And I there on the rocks with them, come and make broth midnight. And we had fun.
Fun, yes.
You know, and I mean, a lot of little things in between that is laughable, but I enjoyed it.
So that was how many years in New
2 years.
2 years in New And from there, where did you go?
Well, then I was in Koshu also.
Yes, tell us about Koshu, because I don't think, perhaps some people may not remember, you know, that period of time when Father Conlon was there, Ed Conlon.
People haven't forgotten him.
Yes, they wouldn't forget Father Conlon.
Because the home is still there.
Yes. So tell us how you served that parish.
Well, first of all, Sister Teresine Lorraine, who was a sister of the Sorrowful Mother, she was a nurse.
Yes.
She studied in England and then she came back. And she was in charge of the home in Sates, Father Hilarion home.
Okay.
But it wasn't going well for her with the board. They had some conflict. And Father approached her one day and he said, Sister, I would like to build a home. There's need for a home in Koshu, St. Andrew, in Martin Parish.
Yes.
And if I would build such a home, would you come to manage it? She said, yes, she was glad for the idea. She snapped at it right away. She said, yes, Sister, Father, I will come. So he built the home. And when he went on vacation, I was the one left to supervise the builders and pay them their money and all of that.
Okay.
But I went there 2 years before Sister Teresine came down.
Okay.
I stayed with Miss Lucy Gibbs.
Okay.
While they were building the home.
Okay.
You know, so she couldn't go alone.
So why you went there for 2 years before the home was open?
Yes, because they were building.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if it's 2 years or 1 year, but I was there before she came to live with me.
Okay.
And I stayed with Miss Lucy Gibbs during that time.
You allowed to stay with as sisters?
Well, this is past Vatican II now, you know.
Okay. That was unheard of before, okay?
Yeah, oh, no.
And the time to get back to the convent and so.
And then you belonging to an American group. I mean, there are a lot of things that were different.
Yes, yes. So you stayed there for a little while,
Yeah,
and then until the home was complete,
and then
yes.
sister came down to join me. You know, we took furniture, we took a big truck, and we went down. We had people in the parish who went down with
That time
us.
she's young and full of energy,
Oh, yes,
and nothing
I had
stops.
lots of it. And in spite of that, girl, I had a lot of health issues in between.
Even then?
Even then.
Oh.
My open heart surgery was in 1996 already.
Okay.
Pretty young, you know.
Okay.
The doctor said, Sister Hope, you know, I had rheumatic fever as a child that they didn't even know. And that could have taken my life. But God knew He had something else for me to do.
Yes.
Yes, I always look at it that way.
Yes. So when the home was finished,
Yes.
what was your role in the home there this time? Because Sister Teresina was in charge, and
yes, that
you
time I'm now
assisted.
hooked with Father Conlon.
Conlon, yes.
And he was very good because he gave me so much scope to do things in the parish.
Yes.
You know, especially with the children.
It's good to
you
hear
know?
that.
That's one of my best ministries in Croshu. I had a girls' club, Maria Goretti Girls' Club. They're in the choir still.
Yes.
Leslyn and all this group of young people.
Okay.
Alicia, you know, Pinky.
Right.
My husband Pinky just got married.
Okay. You follow up on them, eh?
Well,
you keep in touch.
Leslyn keeps me in touch. Leslyn
Yes.
keeps me.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed these young people. I have lots of pictures of the confirmation groups. And it was Pomerose and Croshu that he served.
Yes.
And my kids always used to go, let Pomerose make their first communion and confirmation first. We want to see how they dress. We want to see what they're doing. Because I used to put different things within the liturgy to really make it meaningful for them, you know.
Yes.
And we enjoy that so much. I enjoy. I used to take them on the beach down Latan Bay to play in the river.
Cabie too?
Cabie, yeah. We had a cookout on Cabie one time. And I put on my little long pants. When I come out,
they're looking to see
they
Sister.
say, Sister, you're flooding? Sister, but you don't know you're flooding. I said, what do you mean I'm flooding? I ain't see no water here. My pants say,
too short.
But they were so good and
fun,
respectful young people, you know. I enjoyed every bit of them, every bit of them.
So after Croshu, you've spent a few years in Croshu, about 13 years, you said?
Yes, 13 years altogether. And when I was going to leave, it was a...
I imagine you didn't want to leave and they didn't want you to leave.
Well, I had to go because no sister was able to come to be with me. And I'm not a nurse. They wanted somebody...
You mean leave from the home? So you...
Well, we stayed in the house for the management, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And the little house on the side of the home itself, that's where Sister Teresina and I stayed.
Okay.
At a little convent there. And then another interesting thing that Father Bone, you remember Father Bone?
Yes, Father Bone.
Yeah, he used to live downstairs in, what was that place he was in?
He was in Petit Bacay.
Yeah, Petit Bacay.
Yes.
And some other place he was in.
Woburn. He served Woburn. Yes, St. Michael.
Yes.
Woburn and
his
Petit Bacay.
conditions were poor.
Yes.
Father took me with him one day to go and visit Father because he realized something wasn't going right for him. He had no cook. He had been washing for himself. He's doing, and you could imagine the state when we got there, sleeping on a bed that had no mattress and all this kind of thing. So he took him from there and brought him to live downstairs us, because I had the design for that house. It was Mr. Tommy.
Tommy Alexander, Sister Maureen's dad.
He built that building.
Yeah, he was there.
And Father Ed said, go and talk with Mr. Tommy and tell him what you want, how you want it to be built. So again, we did that, and downstairs was open. So when he took Father Bone, we enclosed the bottom as a little apartment for him.
Yes.
And it was good for us because we had mass every morning.
Right.
You know, and I used to do his laundry and things for him. He was very grateful for that.
He came in from where? Was it
Canada?
Canada, yes. I remember Father Bone very well.
Yes, the same jacket all the time.
Yes.
Well-dressed jacket, dirty like ever.
But your passion has always been catechetics. So
I ended up
tell us how you ended up there in this diocese, because you were not doing it officially as yet you were doing your little ministry.
Yes, but when I went into catechetics, then Cecilia was in charge.
Cecilia Roger.
Okay. And then she went away to study. Muriel Welsh took over.
Okay.
And Muriel Welsh got fed up and she retired, and I took over from her.
Yes.
So that's how it went down, you know,
yes.
until my community took me out.
Okay. Well, you tell us about your experience, because I know you visited the schools.
Oh,
you don't
yes.
drive. I never see you drive, but you used to take the bus and whatever it cost, you would find yourself at the school to be able to interact with the teachers, pass on the faith.
Yes.
Tell us
well,
of that.
Well, that time it was Gracie and myself.
Okay. Yes, Gracie Sanderson. Okay.
Yes. And we had 23 or 24 primary schools at that time, so we divided between the two of us.
Okay.
And then I also ended up with Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Okay.
So this was how I was on Osprey every month.
So you used to go on the Osprey?
Yes.
Like the boat like a young...
And I was,
weren't you frightened of the boat?
No,
you never got sick?
I never got sick. Yet one time we had a fire on the boat.
Wow.
And they didn't tell us anything, but everybody suspected something, and they were throwing things out from the bottom, throwing mops, throwing. And I said, something is wrong. And then there were past students from Petit Martinique working on the boat too, I had taught at Petit Martinique.
Okay.
So they told me, yes, they have an engine problem, but the captain never said a word up to today.
But you got there safely?
Yes, oh yes. When he had one time, one engine went bad, and we just had to float until they sent help.
You had to float, or the boat had to float?
All of us in the boat. And I was never scared. And I suppose being from Guava.
Yes, well,
yes, it's boat life.
Fishing village,
yes,
right? Yes,
you know.
good.
My father was a builder, but he had boat, and my uncle Septimus was a fisherman. And so I never afraid of the sea or anything like that.
Good.
And being a girl guide that I was also.
Okay.
You learn those skills, you know. And even in Guava, we had all of that, you know.
Yes. So when you tell us about you did the work in the catechetics
so I
office,
and
catechetics,
go out to the schools.
And in terms of the parishes, because it's not just the schools, but you also had to provide programs for the parishes and so on, and to collaborate with the priests.
Yes. Some of them are very easy to collaborate with, not all. But we made it nevertheless, because we never gave up. And Grace and I worked very, very well together. Very well together.
Sister, you did real yeoman service to the church. And not just, and that's important for us to understand. That when you called, you're not just called just for a diocese. You call for the universal church. And wherever the need is, you go to serve.
That's our congregation.
That's your motto? What's your motto?
Too.
Okay.
It's all orders.
Okay.
Especially once you're an apostolic order, you know? Not cloistered.
Okay.
Or, you know, they stay in and they do everything. But once you're the apostle outside there, you know?
Now, in your whole journey, you know, as a religious, journeying towards this 60 years, times could have been hard, as you said, in some cases, but I know you mentioned about your health challenge, but I know you've had several surgeries done, major and minor. One you have already mentioned. How is it you're still standing so strong?
Well, first of all, the main ministry of our congregation is healthcare and education.
Healthcare and education.
We have several hospitals in America belonging to the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother. But over the years, we had to be letting go one, letting go two, until...
You don't have many now?
Not many.
You don't have at all?
We have what they formed systems. Ascension system. So whatever we had, St. Elizabeth was where I had my last surgery. It's part of the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother on the administrative level.
Okay.
But it belongs to another bigger group.
Okay.
And the church had to do that in America to survive. Catholics couldn't just have one hospital in the city and also duplicating services. So they came together, amalgamation, and then they were able to continue today. So I was very blessed and fortunate to belong to this congregation during the period of my health system.
Yes.
I went back for an open heart surgery as the first major that I had, replacement of my mitral valve. Okay, then I went back for total hysterectomy. I went back for the bladder, had to, it's a big word, I can't say it, for the removal of the bladder. I had problems with breathing and sinuses, and I had 3 surgeries before I'm able to speak them how I'm speaking now. I've been through the mill, but I always looked at it supported by God's strength and my faith in God.
Because you were never frightened, you told me, when you had to do these surgeries, even the doctors were concerned, and they prepared you, which better helped you to
understand what was going on. That's one good thing about some systems in America. They gave me a book to read and everything like that, you know. So I remember the pain after the open heart surgery, the pain. But I overcome it. I even thought one time I was going to make it through.
We've been praying for you because the sisters asked, pray for Sister Angela. She has these
But that was the last one in
Yes, especially the last 2021, yes.
No, they went through my heart by going through here. I have the pictures, you know. I didn't know that was possible. It went through my heart here, and you could see the thing where we used to go into the heart. I had blocked arteries. Some of them were 90% blocked, 50% blocked, 30% blood cannot go through. And I was here with this pain and pain and pain. And then it was during COVID time too, when Bishop Clyde Harvey asked Sister Gillian, how are the sisters coping? She said, well, they're coping except Sister Angela who's complaining of all this pain in her chest and the back. He took his cell phone out and he called a cardiologist friend in Trinidad.
Yes. And
before I know it, well, I'd gone to Trinidad already, hoping to have it done in Trinidad. Yeah. They couldn't do it. He said, sister, you're heading for a massive heart attack. Get out from here as soon as you can.
Wow.
And if you have no place to go, I have places where I send my patients in Florida.
Yes.
But thank God we had St. Elizabeth, part of that Ascension system.
Yes.
So right away, she done got my ticket. And I went 3 days after I got there, I had surgery.
Many people think, okay, you've been serving God, you went in there so young, you know, almost without sin. And
I had a boyfriend.
You did?
But it was in class. Oh my God, mother was so strict, you better not pass by her door. Yeah, we had friends, you know, but I mean, not serious thing like that.
Yes. So the place of suffering in this journey, because after, you know, like 60 years, it hasn't been easy. I mean, dealing perhaps even with relationships within the convent, the changes that you've seen, the whole change of Vatican II, changing everything, the formation, the young people today, you know, so many things have been different. And then to couple with that is your own physical suffering, which started at a very early age. How do you view suffering in the light of all of this? Because many persons are unable to accept that, and we wrestle with God when it comes to these situations of suffering.
Let me tell you something. As I told you before, I was never afraid of what was going to be done to improve my condition.
Never afraid?
Never afraid, because I trusted God wholeheartedly. I trusted God. Sometimes I said, Lord, I want to ask you a question, you know, but I'm not going to bother because you yourself is the answer. You already is the answer to what? Or even with this knees that I cannot go where I want to go. I said, well, why? You know there's work outside there to be done. And when I came back from Chicago and I was with the postulants, we had 2 young ladies who didn't stay, you know. My plans, not God's plans, was to come back to Goa and to work with all the old fishermen that I knew as a child, living together, never married. When I told my cousin Norman, well, she said, that's a good ministry, you know, good ministry, because there's so many of them in that state of being. And many of them are at the soup kitchen now, you know, being fed. And that was what the ministry in my mind is, to go again, evangelization of these people, you know. But it wasn't meant to be. I mean,
so suffering for you,
was I came to understand suffering. I did a lot of reading. I read a lot, extensively. EWTN is very good, because so many times they have lectures on these aspects of our lives as Christians. And that they bring you into the picture of Jesus, offer it to Jesus, Because Jesus himself suffered already for you. He knows what suffering is. He's not asking you to do something he didn't do for himself. And these were the things that I was thinking in my own personal mind, to accept the suffering as a blessing and a grace from God.
Awesome.
You know?
And then you are called Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother. People, Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother.
They don't like the title, no, they're afraid of the title.
Why the Sorrowful Mother?
They're afraid of the title.
You see it assisting you in life,
but
facing.
you see, because again, our people are not taught. I'm vexed with the church, you know. I'm vexed with the church.
Why are you
There's
vexed?
so many things that people basic don't know. And I give them some
catechization?
ideas. Yes, I said, you know, sometimes we have a whole page of announcements. I said, pin it up on the back of the church. Take 5 minutes before people leave church and teach some aspect of church life. Why do we genuflect in church? Why do we bless water and call it holy water? Why do we sign ourselves with holy water? It's not voodoo. But nobody taking me on. There were 1 or 2 priests who did that, you know, and it worked very well.
Yes.
I see we have a need to go back basic like that.
Yes.
We are a teaching church. Go forward and teach the nations. But we are losing that aspect. And things that the church need to speak about in people's lives, they're not touching it at all. Grace used to get so mad. I said, girl, God is in charge, you know, not you, not me.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I understand even now what suffering is all about. It's a blessing. It is beneficial for my own spiritual growth and development. So I'm not going to fight it.
And for the church.
Yes, and for the church,
for
the
the
whole
world,
world.
and for the world.
Whole world,
Yes.
you know. But when I sometimes in the knee hurt me so much, I think of Putin and how he treating the people there. I said, Lord, I offer that one for Putin today, you know.
Yes. You have a great sense of humor, sister.
Well, this is what the doctor said to me, sister, your disposition and the way you accept your condition is what have you here still.
Yes, yes, yes. And your gentleness and that constant smile, you know, it's very present in what you do. And people would always recall, like this lady was saying, sister is a real woman of faith and prayer, because I don't know how she goes through these situations that she's going through. And you offer, you are great inspiration to many people who suffer, and I'm sure this program is going to really give inspiration to many people who are bedridden and young people too, so that they can understand the role of suffering and to better understand their own Christian journey. Before we want to just say briefly about some treasured memories.
Oh, treasured memories.
You have some,
yes, very treasured
some moments,
memories.
of course, of encounters,
yes.
and you'd like to share just some of these.
Yes.
It's a lot, but you'll just pick the ones that are very dear to your heart.
Well, the one that's very dear to my heart was while I was studying in Rome, and it was just after the shooting up of John Paul II. So he came to this summer house to recuperate, but he invited all the catechists of the world who were studying in Rome at that time for a visit with him. So we went up as from country, they called out A, and when it was B, Barbados, I went up, and I was the only one from Barbados. So I had all the time with him. And I have a thick photograph. He blessed me. I was blessed by a saint. I have to treasure
He wasn't
that.
a saint at that time, but
No, but he is
saint
now.
in the making, of course.
Yes, he is now. Can't deny that one. Cannot deny that one.
Of course.
And he was so gentle.
Yes.
I remember I saw him sit down with his bandaged finger, you know, the tears came to my eyes. And the gentle smile that he had too, you know. And I said, Lord, thank you for saving his life. Because he is the time that the church needs at this time. So that's just a treasure. I have the photographs and nobody's going to take them away.
Yes.
When I die, they could do whatever they want.
And then you had an opportunity to go to Lourdes?
Then I went to
And the
Lourdes.
Holy Land?
Yes, and it's on my celebration of my birthday, 11th of February, Our Lady of Lourdes, you know. And when I got there, I was able to bathe in the healing waters.
Okay.
You know, I was in the line, and this lady said, "Sister, come over on this line. That's the line for the sick."
You didn't go with a crutch that
No,
day?
I didn't have no
you didn't have a
crutch
crutch?
that time, no.
Okay.
I didn't have surgery yet.
Okay, okay.
That was, I went to England to spend a holiday with my sister.
Yes, yes.
And she went to Brighton Beach because they had planned the holiday before I got there, you know. So she left me alone. I'm brave, you know. She left me alone in this big house. and she went to Brighton
On vacation.
with her husband, yes.
Yes.
But she's such a lovely person. She's working very much in the parish that she's in now.
Okay, okay.
So, but the neighbor across was a taxi driver, and they knew each other.
Yes.
So the day I had to go, she told him the hour to come and pick me up. So I went to Westminster Abbey to wait for the coach. And all night long we were driving.
Yes.
When I got to Lord's the next day, I felt like a rag.
Yes, yes.
I said, I'll never do that again. Well, I can't do that again, definitely. So that was a thing that I looked forward to, and a special moment in my life.
Yes, yes.
And then to go to the Holy Land, walking in the footsteps of Jesus. When I came back, I wanted to everybody in the Bible to know everything what the Bible says. I want to teach everybody the Bible. I want to teach everybody. I was there, I saw this, I saw that.
Yeah.
I was kissing, I have pictures always kissing on the ground, kissing something here, kissing something.
So special to you.
It was all students
Yes.
that went on that trip, you know. Every year they took a group of students.
Okay.
And how you think I got the money to go? When my community used to give me an allowance. And then they give you at college something like 500 liras it was at the time. Now it's euros.
Euros, yeah.
To buy books. I didn't buy a book yet. I had to go in the library and do my research. And I saved that money for the tickets.
Okay.
And it was a pleasure.
Yes.
It was a blessing.
Yes, sister. Yes. So you have, as we come to the wrap, you know, in terms of the vocation, as you see it happening, what's your desire? I mean, things have changed so much. We don't seem to be getting a lot of replacement locally in the congregations, and you've been here serving for quite a while. How do you see the future for vocations generally, and for the Sisters of the Sorrowful?
The virtue of hope is bright in my life. Jesus does not go back on his words. Jesus never takes back what he says. And he's going to be with his church until the end of time. With or without vocations. Because vocations, life has changed tremendously. Young people wouldn't go through what I went through when I entered the convent. If they had to go and rake up grass and rake up bush, you think they'd have been packed and gone long. Yes, but we saw the value of it. As a life we said yes, and then one of the things that was highly stressed, you're a spouse of Christ. Spouse of Christi. You're a spouse of Christ. I mean, that just did something to me. Not any ordinary man. Jesus himself has called and chosen you to this way of life, you know.
So maybe somebody might still feel they have that desire.
I believe God will never stop calling. He will never stop speaking. But what we have to do, that technology, and some parents are also obstacles in the way of the children wanting to choose that way of life. I had to do an essay on that when I was in Chicago. Obstacles that you see and understand is in the blocking religious life and young people coming in.
Yes. So you have hope. You have hope that God is going to provide for his...
If we give up hope, what is left?
Yes, yes.
No,
it's good. It's good to know, because some people are very frustrated, sister.
Yes,
but I know there are vocations rising in some of the African countries, yeah? And for the Sisters of the Sorrowful, you are...
Yes, right in
Tanzania?
Tanzania. Yes, you have lost them. One just made final vows last week.
Yes.
Yes.
So there is
hope. We cannot give up that hope.
Right.
Jesus does not take back his word.
Yes. So as you prepare to celebrate on Sunday, look at your face already. And I show the listeners and viewers, well, at least the viewers would see you with a pencil in your hand, and it's not a modern pencil. And a book that looks older than the Praise the Lord we have. So sister has, these things mean quite a lot to her. It's a Praise the Lord she has in her hand, and a pencil because she loves to write. She has her own, she has written some songs, and she has written some poetic pieces. But she would like, as she journeys towards the 60th anniversary of religious profession, happy sister, if she had to do this again, as she said, she would not change it for anything, because she is happy with her spouse, Jesus Christ, and he's the one that has never disappointed her in all her life. So we want to thank you, sister, for this, your faithfulness, for your diligence, the service, for this attitude and disposition of hope, and that desire and zeal always to announce the gospel and to find opportunities to invite persons and to announce the gospel to them. So I pray that the Lord will continue to give you the graces necessary. As Bishop Charles said, we never retire.
No.
We have to spell that one differently. We spell that one R-E-T-Y-R-E. He said, I am retired. So,
yes.
And you don't think that you are retired. In fact, I don't think we retire in the service of God.
No.
It's an ongoing until.
Yes.
Until, and with your boots on and your feet planted on the ground, you'll continue to walk. So congratulations, sister. Congratulations for your witness. Congratulations for trusting God wholeheartedy. Thank God for you being among the young sisters, Sister Gillian, Sister Delia, Sister Roxanne. These are young Grenadian sisters. All the sisters here who have served, those who have died, and you continue to carry the baton. May God continue to give you courage and grace to really, really continue to be a light, okay, and a witness and a martyr, as you are being in this time of when the church needs it and the world needs it. So I think you want to wrap with something special that you want to pray, to invite our parents, because I know you have that desire for the domestic church and the first transmitters of the faith to be the parents. Please share with us that as we come to a close with this very special moment with you, sister.
Well, in the Praise the Lord, there is this very important prayer, parents pray for children. And I know just in listening to EWTN, they also stress the importance of parents in the faith development of their children.
Yes.
Parents are supposed to be the first educators of faith for their children. And when I look around in Grenada, I don't think it is really so in many, many households. I remember being in catechetics that we encourage parents before the child goes to bed and make the sign of the cross on the forehead of the child. And there are prayers for children. When we wrote that book for baptism, we put some of the simple prayers for the children. Their parents pray for children, angel of God, right?
Yes.
And if they would do that, they would have happy children.
Yes.
They would have happy children. Because Jesus has a special love for children. I believe that.
Yes.
It says, suffer the little ones to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom.
Yes.
Yes, so that for us getting there, we have to be like children again. So I would like to pray this prayer on behalf of our parents and let them know it's in the book. Look for it and pray for your children. There are so many attractions and distractions around us today that some children are confused and don't know what is God calling them to.
Yes.
But as parents, you have the responsibility, because you're going to answer to God one day for them. So you have to start treating them the way Jesus expects us to.
Yes.
Parents pray for children. O Jesus, lover of children, bestow your most precious graces on those whom you have confided as parents to care for. Increase in them faith, hope, and charity. May your love form them to solid piety, inspiring them with horror for sin, love of work, and an ardent desire of worthily approaching your holy table. Preserve in them innocence and purity of heart, and if they should offend you, grant them the grace of prompt and sincere repentance. From your tabernacle, watch over them day and night. Protect them in all of their ways. Grant that they may acquire the knowledge they need, that they may embrace the state of life to which you are calling them. Give us for them a sincere love, constant vigilance, generous devotedness be here below our sweetest consolation, and in heaven our eternal reward. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And I want to guarantee you, parents, to pray for your children. You will see the changes that will take place in their lives and your lives too. It's important.
Yes.
Children are a gift from God, not toys, but they have their own feelings, their own attitude, their own desires. You have them to see it in a good light, that they are all gifts from God, and to be able to put those gifts back at the service of God's people, the church, and in society.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you for that desire, and thank you for that prayer. And we congratulate you again on behalf of all of us of Good News Catholic Communication, and I'm sure you will get all your blessings and at that special Mass on Sunday, the 17th of September at 3 p.m., right at St. Peter's Church in Guave, will be the celebration of the 60th anniversary of religious profession of Sister Mary Angela Mathlin SSM, Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with us, and I pray that the content of this program will really be a blessing to all those who have the privilege to listen. I've been your host, Ruthina Victor. Thank you for being part of this production. Thank you, sister. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you very much.
Only in God is my soul at rest. In Him comes my salvation. He only is my rock, my strength, and my salvation, my stronghold, my Savior. I shall not be afraid at all. My stronghold, my Savior, I shall not be moved. Only in God is found safety when the enemy pursues me. Only in God is found glory when I am found meek and found lowly. My stronghold, my Savior, I shall not be afraid at all. My stronghold, my Savior, I shall not be moved. Only in God is my soul